We're back with Refuel. Here's your host, Jennifer Ballou.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I am so happy to have you here at Refuel with me today as we wrap up this spring cleaning series. I'm sure some of you are wondering how long this could possibly go on. And honestly, I could probably still keep talking about it. But I'll tell you all that later. Anyway, so today we're just going to talk about rhythms and routines. Because honestly, when talking about cleaning, like physically, when we talk about cleaning, I have discovered, and this is just through several events that have happened over the last couple of years, and just kind of looking at things and talking with my mom about different things. And I had a conversation with a really good friend this last week, and it was just this sudden realization that a lot of people don't really understand or really get into the rhythm of cleaning. Like it's hard to explain, but it's like they don't know. They don't understand that there is a certain rhythm to it. And there is, and I think we need to understand that for our lives as well, that there is a rhythm and a pattern and a routine to establish to really stay in a place where things are kept up. At my own home, I have never worried about someone just showing up at my house and it being dirty. Yes, there may be some dirty dishes on the counter, but the bathrooms are always scrubbed clean. The floors may have some sand on them, but it's the house is still picked up and nice and neat. And that is because I understood the rhythm of keeping up with housework. My mom established that with me. My grandmother established it with her. It was just something that we understood and knew. And I want to say that the same is true, that I've passed that on for my own kids, because they talk about cleaning a lot and really trying to figure out their own rhythm, because their lives look so different than mine did at their age, and that my life looked as it has always looked a lot different than my mom's, so I had to find my own rhythm in that. And God also had to do a good deep work in me to have a heart for my home, to really want to and enjoy that cleaning process. I love getting to clean my house. I can't say that was always the case. And no, this is not what, our topic is not about keeping a clean home. But for me, just understanding how I got to the place of these rhythms and routines and patterns, it's still, yes, it helped that it was established when I was a little girl. And that I saw it modeled in my own parents' home. I saw it modeled in my grandparents' home. I saw it modeled in my aunt's homes as well. So that has been a good foundation for me. But it also took a lot of inner work for God to develop that heart for my home, for me to want to keep it clean, to keep up with that rhythm and that pattern. And I think the same can be said for our spiritual lives. So hear me out, because I'm just, this is just one of those things where God's just kind of showing me some things and, just kind of working it all together. You may see this very differently. You may think I'm out in left field. That's fine. Allow God to show you for your life what works. But for me, and I have a ton of notes here. So pulling out the reading glasses, we have to establish really healthy routines. And my best example for you is laundry. I don't enjoy laundry. God has not developed in me a heart for that particular part of my home. And I'll tell you why. As I really studied this and started looking at it, I realized I don't have a healthy routine for laundry. I never developed one, never figured it out until recently, and that's probably because our laundry is so much less now than it was a few years ago, having 3 girls at home. There are still some days where I get frustrated with it and, all those things. But really looking at it, I discovered that I don't enjoy it because let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of work that needs to be done on my end for laundry. Switching it from machine to machine, separating it, getting it folded and put into the right rooms or whatever. Yes, but that is really not that big of a deal. And I think that's what frustrated me the most, is because why would I hate something that really doesn't require that much work? But I hated it. But I think that is because I have never established a healthy routine with it. I have one now. Monday is laundry day. So there you go. I have a routine. It's in my brain. This is the day we do laundry, and it all gets done. It gets washed, it gets folded, it gets put away. It's done. I don't have to worry about it the rest of the week. I feel like if I had if I had a healthy routine of these are the days that this gets washed, these are the days that, blah, 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 blah. Way back when my family was young, I would have, not dreaded laundry so much. And you want to know what else? I passed that on to my poor kids. They hate laundry. They, let it pile up. Then they don't get it put away. Whatever. I did not help them with establishing a routine. I'm going to try to remedy that. Just because there is no reason that laundry should be so miserable. And you're probably thinking, good Lord, why are you talking about laundry so long? But I think the same is true for our spiritual lives, that we really need to look at things, to re-look at things, to rethink things, and make sure that we are in healthy routines in those instances, that we can we've done this deep cleaning, and believe me, you will need to do a deep cleaning again. But, we've established the maintenance of rest. We have become self-aware. We know where the areas are that we need to work on. We know which closets have a ton of stuff in them and need to be gone through. We know what areas, what corners need to be brightened. We know what is available to display. We know all those things now. So now is when we can establish routine. And one of those routines is going back and looking at things periodically. Does it need to be every day? No. What needs to happen every day is meeting with God and saying, help me keep my house clean today. Help me not give the enemy permission. Help me to disagree with the things of the world and with the enemy. Like, I don't want to go back to dating the enemy. I don't want to go back to dating frustration and anger and all those things. So daily in my house, I do a quick tidy up, run through the house, make the beds, make sure the shoes are put away where they're supposed to be. That dirty clothes are in the laundry, waiting for Monday. Just clean up the kitchen, whatever, those types of things, so that I can get started on the rest of my day. And so that's an established routine, and we need to establish the same kind of routine with Holy Spirit, so that we can continue in this cleaning process that, like I said earlier, I have never been one to be like, oh my gosh, someone's coming over unannounced. We have to go through this house like crazy, picking up and throwing things into closets and shutting doors and whatever. I've never been that type of person because I had, well-established rhythms and routines for cleaning. And the same is true in our spiritual lives, that, the world is being shaken, or your world in particular is being shaken. Oh my gosh, everybody hold on. We've got to gather all these things up and shove them in closets and nobody look, and we're holding on for dear life that, those closet doors stay shut while this shaking happens. We need to be in a place where the shaking happens and we say, you know what? I'm in a good place. The closets are cleaned out. There may be a few things that we still need to go through, but that's what a shaking is for. So let the doors open, God. Let's bring those bins out and let's go through them and make sure that that's something that's pleasing to you and that we want established in our home. Or is it something that, another heart issue that we need to relook at and rethink and go through, that that we can walk into those shaking situations as being a pillar, that others can see the glory of God, because we can walk into those situations with peace and with rest on us, because we are taking that weekly maintenance time to rest, and to establish that peace and order and that rhythm in our life as well. I hope I'm not jumping too all over the place. I would imagine y'all probably think I'm not well ordered in rhythm the way my brain goes from, all over. But I am. Just not very well with my talking from subject to subject. Anyway, moving on. But this is one of the reasons we want these rhythms and these patterns established in our lives, is so that, when things do happen, we can be unafraid of the closet doors flying open and having to deal with an aftermath of garbage everywhere. We don't have to do that. The closet doors fly open. Yeah, okay, well, you exposed a couple of areas that I didn't quite get to, God. Let's go ahead and stop and go through those. That's great. That's growth. That is the process, the journey that we're on is one of growth and changing and, going forward. So, let me double check here what I wanted to say. When we relook and rethink of things, like I'm saying, of these, maybe these boxes that are coming out of the closet and, flying open, your pantry maybe is suddenly all on the floor. I don't know. I'm trying to give you different examples. It's, when we relook at those things and rethink those things, we need to make sure that they're not heart issues, or a lot of times they are. That's generally what we're looking at, is things that we need to let go of because of an emotional attachment, or a traumatic event that we're not quite ready to relook at. But if we will develop those healthy rhythms, we have an understanding then of when we need to do another deep clean, of repenting for, allowing the enemy permission into our lives and to work in our lives, and to turn away from those things, to break up with those things. Or is this something that we just needed a little spruce up, that, God, this is just a refining moment, and it's not something that, I need to completely turn away from. This is just something that needs to be dealt with, and the edges sanded off, or however you want to look at that. I had a thought. See, when I said pantry earlier, I was just reminded of one time my husband and I decided we wanted to reorganize the way our kitchen worked. When we had first moved in, we just, I'm one of those people that my house is pretty much unpacked the day we move. Everything gets pulled out of boxes and put in their general area, and then later we can go through and whatever. Well, the kitchen had stayed the way it was for a long time, and just as our kids got older, as we got older, as things changed, of he was cooking more, I was cooking less because of schedules at the studio and his work and different things like that, we just decided that we would empty out the entire kitchen and then put it back in a way that worked for us. And sometimes that is the cleaning process. We really did not get rid of anything except for maybe 1 million water bottles that my children had seemed to acquire. Anyway, that's another conversation. But, we didn't get rid of very much stuff. We just reworked how our kitchen worked. Sometimes that is part of the cleaning process. And one of those rhythms that we need to put in there is, okay, God, let's reestablish how this routine is, or let's reestablish, should have had more examples. But anyway, I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. That there's a lot of the times that God just needs to rework an area, and we need to understand that rhythm as well. There's the deep cleaning, there's the sprucing up, there's the reorganizing, and then there's this display that, like I told y'all earlier in this series, I have these shelves that I decorate with every season. And sometimes it's a new season and we need to redecorate and put different things on display. Putting away a certain dish or plate, or just a vase, whatever. I'm trying to just think of different decorative things. Sometimes we put those away. It's not because they are not wanted anymore, and it's not still a beautiful piece. It's just that God has something else He wants to display. For me, that is kind of the season I'm in right now, and it's just it's interesting when I take a step back and kind of go, okay, God, I want you to display what you want to display, and I'm not going to feel like I failed, or that this has suddenly become something that's not beautiful in my life anymore, just because you don't want it out on display anymore. It's still something that is a part of me, and it's just that we're going to display God's glory through me with a different piece. So that is also something that, is part of the routine, it's part of the rhythm, that we need to embrace that in our lives, that we can change with the seasons. And that was really the start of this whole spring cleaning series, was that We want to enter into the new season fresh and clean. We want to finish the old season well. And that is something that we need to talk to God about the things that aren't pleasing to Him, because we want to stay in this place of being clean, of continually walking in that freshness, in that updated version of ourselves. That we, that His story can be seen through us as we choose to respond to life connected to Him. That is how people see us. That's how the fruit of the Spirit is evident to others and is on display for others as we, respond to life, to the shaking, to the closet doors flying open and the pantry falling out and whatever else you can think of, to the laundry spread all across the couch because I haven't folded it in a week. Whatever, that our response looking to Him is this beautiful, bowl of fruit on display for others to see. If we aren't choosing that, if we aren't looking at things and becoming self-aware in a way that is a process of growth in developing His character inside of us, then we won't be able to fulfill that purpose that He has for us, that we'll lose what He has given us. And I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. Also, in this spring cleaning process, I think it's really important, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that I didn't want you to think I was saying that we had to get cleaned up before we come to God. I am so, go in all dirty. This is about Him doing the work and us partnering with Him, that He's beside us the whole way. And it's really about us becoming more of our original intent, what He really purposed for us and for our lives, that we are letting His character form in us. That's what this whole thing has been about. So we need to make sure that we're not measuring our we're not measuring things by religious doing, but that we are looking more at the relationship with Him, that we are looking at the character issues, and we need to deal with those. That's part of the relationship. This whole spring cleaning thing is not a doing thing. It is a relationship thing. That, when we say, okay, God, here's my house. Here's the mess. Here's the dirtiest, darkest corners. I'm going to let you into every single area. That is a relationship. And sometimes we don't do it that way. Sometimes it's here's a closet. Start here. That's a relationship growth, because you're going to learn to trust God more and more. You're going to see what a faithful and good Father He is, and you're going to be able to open those doors of another closet, to the deepest, darkest closet, to the dirtiest part, and eventually, allow Him to clean that up. Some of us go, here it is. It's just a depending on you kind of thing. But in all of it, there is continual growth, and that is developing relationship with God, and that is really what this is about. A lot of the times I think we identify more with the curse than the blessing, and it causes us to view others with that same lens, that's this curse lens, and we need to learn to rebuke the curse, break up with the curse, take the curse to the dump, and embrace the blessing. And those blessings are God's original intent for you, and it is for all of us. Even the people that you think, oh my gosh, you came straight from the pit of hell. No, that was a created person. That was a person God created, and his best was meant for him or her. Like, and we need to be able to look at people through those lenses. And I'm not saying to just be dumb to whatever is going on, but for instance, the young man that walked up last week that I told you about, I wanted to first see him with blessing, not curse, you know. So I struggled with that big time, of saying, you know what, buddy, you can't be here because I have children here, you know, because I wanted to hug him. I wanted to, you know, just embrace him and say, it's okay. If this is what you need, take it, you know. Like, I don't know, that was a really big struggle, but we need to be able to look at the whole world in that way, but also be wise. You know, God's blessing is to bless you with favor. He wants to bless you with his light and love and peace. He wants to shine on you and give you rest because you are precious to him. And he wants to enjoy life with you and through you, and to keep you in the palm of his hand. He wants to change our thoughts, to heal our souls so that we can walk in wholeness and to be the blessing we are designed to be. And really, we can't get to that unless we are willing to walk out this cleaning process with him, to develop that relationship with him, to let him expose the things that are not of his character so that we can enter into that part of his character that, you know, we so desire for the world to see. And so I hope you have enjoyed this process of my brain, basically, and the things that God is showing me. I hope you have learned some things from this. I hope you are going through some of your own spring cleaning in your life, in your home as well, if that's, you know, something you need to do. But because it's certainly made me just do that as well. Like, you know, when I'm talking about it in my house, it feels good to do it in my home and to kind of re-look at things. Even, you know, areas of my life where I'm like, okay, God, where do you want to make a change in how we're doing things, in what, you know, what is on display. And that has just been an awesome thing for me. So, wrapping it up, next week we are going to get into what it means to be a kingdom representative. And the reason we're doing that is because our show is coming up at the studio, and that is the theme. And I don't know how to separate my life. Like, I don't know how to not do everything as integrated. So if it's happening at the studio and I've got to study for it, for that big show, then you are going to get to hear about it. So that's what we're going to be doing the next couple of weeks. Just studying what it means, what God really means for us when He's, says we're not of this world, and to be His representative in this place that He has put us, in our domain, in the part of society that we live in. What does that look like? So I hope you'll join me next week as we dive into that topic. So see you guys later. Bye.